And then, to your point, the more you know, the more you will be able to understand. So the more you know, how much you know will be critical, but more importantly, how much of what you think you know and is accurate must be crucial, right? So what is accurate out there? You need to be able to separate fact from fiction, okay? And then here's the next big thing, you know, ask the tough questions of your kids. Sometimes we tend to shy away from those kind of conversations because we don't want to have to deal with the answers. But if your kids are out there doing something that can harm them, potentially, you want to be able to ask these kind of questions. So for example, do you really know everybody on your friends list? Okay, how many of you are on Facebook in this room? Right? So how many of you get like, so-and-so wants to be your friend, and you're like, you have no idea. And then, you know, some of you might just say yes, okay, click yes, and you have no idea. So now, every time you post something on Facebook, on your wall, somebody that you have no idea about now has information about you. Whether it's your dog, your daughter, whatever. People put a lot of pictures of their kids. Like, for example, the rule of thumb in my house is my wife says to me, Marvin, no pictures of myself or the kids on social media. None. So I'm not allowed to post pictures of my kids, or, you know, my wife does not do Facebook. She doesn't do social media, period. Right? So she doesn't allow me, and that's fine with me. Because the only information that I allow myself to put on these kind of social media platforms are professional ones. You know, I might do a tongue-in-cheek thing. Like, for example, I was at Burgers and Beers the other day, and they came out with a big burger. So I took a picture of that and put it on my Twitter feed and said, I dare you to eat that. You know, tongue-in-cheek stuff, but nothing inappropriate that can come back and haunt you down the line. So we understand that, but our kids don't. So we need to be able to monitor what they do.
Are your kids on social media?
No, my kids are not on. But my kids are rather young right now.
11.
My one is 5 and the other one is 1. So in a couple of years, this is going to change radically. So I'm going to have to deal with that issue as well.
It's something along the same lines. So there's a couple of the media platforms like Twitter, like Foursquare in particular, and every teenager has some sort of phone. You can tweet they have GPS function where you can tweet your actual location.
Yes, absolutely.
So people should be aware of that.
Absolutely.
Even from your computer, you're telling the
People
world out there, hey,
where
I'm
you
at
are. Yep.
Bigger Burger and Beer Joint on
I'm
South
a
Beach.
big
You
exactly.
know,
And
come
people
find
know
me.
exactly know where you are. Absolutely.
Wait, they can, can I ask a question? Can they tell where you are if you don't broadcast it?
No.
No, but you have to make sure you disable the geographic function.
Absolutely.
Or else it will
Otherwise,
tweet
continuously
a map with a pin in it of where you are with an address.
When you send out a tweet.
When
So
you
I send out a tweet unless I disable that.
Exactly.
Right, and if your kids
Same
are on
thing on
Foursquare,
Foursquare.
that's a whole geographic thing. Hey, I'm
Yes,
checking it at this
But that's
location.
also helpful if the child is missing, when you can find them. So
Yeah,
you
but
have
it's
to
also like
deactivate,
catch
send them
22
to you, and
Guys,
activate it again.
All I'm saying, remember what I'm saying. This is not anti-technology. The technology is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. The point is, you need to know both the dark side and the good side of these technologies, because they carry the same level of weight. Yes.
Skype is also, can Skype be considered somewhat of a social media in the sense that somebody can break in while you're on it and?
No, Skype is more of a communication. It's kind of VoIP. It's
Right.
VoIP over the internet, and you can IM and you can chat. But really, Skype again is another closed platform. People can't see you on Skype unless you allow them, or you allow them to be part of your network.
Because I had, my niece had a person come in during one of her Skype sessions.
Interesting.
And, yeah, and it's being investigated. It was a really bad situation.
Yeah,
was-
that shouldn't happen unless this person is a hacker and was able to figure things out. But most of the time, that should not happen. All right. I'm sorry. Let me go back. So, do you ever get messages from strangers, and how do you handle them? You need to ask your child that, because nowadays people have access to your kid's handle name, and they can, contact them directly through direct messages on Twitter or direct messages on Facebook. Do you know anyone who's gone to meet someone offline they've been talking to online? So here's some sobering statistics for you parents. 40% of kids say they hide what they do online from their parents. 40% of kids. 20% of kids 13 and under have said that they have met with people face-to-face that they've met online. 20% of kids 13 and under. So they're out there, and the predators are out there. They're talking to your kids, and kids are thinking that they're talking to other kids. So it's really important that you stay on top of who they're talking to online. Are people in your group of friends ever mean to each other, cyberbullying? That, like I said, that story about the girl that's been bullied so much online that she committed suicide. And are your kids comfortable telling you if somebody was bullying them or if somebody was trying to approach them? You know, so, and then the whole issue of taking sexy photos or nude photos of themselves. If their friends are doing it, is there peer pressure for them to do it? You know, how do they handle that kind of peer pressure? So you need to start asking them those questions. So let's start with some safety tips for your kids online. Find your teen's profile. For some of you, I started by asking you if you knew your teen's or your child's handle name on social media, whether it was a Facebook, and some of you did not raise your name. You need to know your child's handle name. You need to know what it is. A handle, whatever name that they're using on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube. Sometimes they can create a name. It's not necessarily their name, but it's still you know, posting information about themselves out there. Ask them. Find out. Their friends know. They're going to leave some kind of digital footprint online. You can find out.
Another point that I've heard in the past about this is that the sooner you start these conversations, the more likely your kids are to tell you. So that if you wait until they're 15 or 16 years old, they're going to have a greater sense of wanting to protect their privacy.
Yes, absolutely.
But if they get in the habit of sharing this information with you when they're 8, 9, 10, then you've already established a precedent.
What if they're what?
Their handles, are they different in every,
They can be. They can be. They can be. I mean, my handle is the same for me because I use mine professionally, but kids use a bunch of different names. They use fake names, fictitious names, friends' names.
Can they change their handle often, anytime they want?
They can change their handle. They can start.
They make up where they're from. You know, they make up that they've already graduated from high school, but they're still in 7th grade.
Exactly. So but you need to know your teen's profile, and you need to be able to know what kind of profile they have, right? So how many handle names do they have, where they are, and you're entitled to know, and the best way to start is by asking them, right? So follow the 4 Ps. Don't let your child post anything publicly that parents, principal, predators, or the police shouldn't see. Everyone is looking at what you post on the internet stays forever. Google never forgets. Use privacy settings. A lot of people are using Facebook, but they're not even looking at the privacy settings, all right? There's serious privacy settings that you can put on Facebook, not allowing people to see your albums, your pictures. You can not allow people to befriend your kids unless you approve them. There's there's settings where people can't see any kind of personal information about you unless you allow them to be part of that network. So if you're using Facebook and your kids are using Facebook or Twitter, and you look at the privacy settings. Know what they are, know how to use them. And I think I gave you, for example, on social media today, this is the handout that I provided to everybody to show how to actually close out your child's pictures on their Facebook page. So people don't tag your child's picture. So for example, if you don't use your privacy settings, somebody could actually take a picture of you at a party and they upload it on their Facebook page and they say, oh, well, here's Marvin and so, and they tag your name. So now all of a sudden your name is out there and it's being tagged. So if you don't change a privacy setting, somebody can tag your name and your picture anywhere if they have a Facebook page. So being able to change that privacy setting doesn't allow people to tag your name and pictures on Facebook. Yes?
And you can untag it when it's already been tagged.
Yes, and you can untag it when it's already been tagged. So be familiar with the privacy settings for all of them, not just Facebook, right? Facebook tends to be the most popular, but, you know, and then do this, you know, what I told you guys, my mother did. She snooped in my room, right? When I was 15, I would have been totally incensed, right? Where's my privacy? I had none, right? Your kids don't have one either, okay? Because at the end of the day, we're parents. We're the ones who understand the dangers that are out there. They don't yet. So do online snooping. Snoop on your children. Use Google. Use privacy elements or track their digital footprint. You're allowed to do that because your